Shalom and welcome to the last edition of the Messianic Hour. This is our last time after over 7 years of us being on the radio that we're going to have our radio show. It doesn't mean it's the last time you're going to hear from us, but we're going to be changing our focus to more social media, YouTube, and our own website. There's a lot of stuff going on. We still have the Roku channel. We're going to be adding new content. Thank you, content to that as well. And we're going to be taking this time of looking about what's been going on with the ministry, how it all began, and what we're looking for in the future. A lot's going on right now. There's peace in the land, but will that hold? Will ISIS also be trying to get in? We'll look at that a little bit in the first part of the show as well, and then we'll recap and what's going on. This is actually our 370th show, and so it's kind of exciting.
That is.
I've been, I think, all but one of them I've been on. I think you had to do one by yourself. I'm taking that off from memory as Judy gives me a funny look.
I must have blocked it out of my mind.
Because we even did it when I was in a different state.
Yes,
we got to do that.
Interesting.
And I think I don't remember what we did when I had my back surgery, so we'll have to go down memory lane, but we'll talk about how the Messianic Hour started, how it went from an hour to a half hour, and what's coming on as well. So we got a lot of neat things going on. It's a kind of a sad day, but it's exciting too. This being our last show, we've had some great times with it. And Judy, the one thing that was really neat, I did get an email just the other day of a person who's been listening to the radio show, and they we prayed via email for them to accept the Lord.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that was a neat kind of experience. I also had a letter come in through the mail, too, of someone how much they appreciated the radio show. And like I said, we're going to be ending our radio show, but we're not doing the ministry that we're doing. We're just going to change focus. I want to encourage you, go to our website, rabbiscott.com, sign up for our newsletter so you can get informed of all the great things that are going to be going on.
And we'll also let you know through that medium when we release new videos.
That's right. And we're also going to be going back to Israel, too.
Yes, we are.
We actually have the prices. Tell them the dates. It's June, I think, 1st through the 11th.
I think
that's what we finalized. And the rate is going to be $42.95. That's round trip from Atlanta. All taxes and all that kind of stuff's included. It's not one of these read the bottom line, read the fine print. We put everything out there. The only thing you have to pay for is lunch every day and spending money and tip for the driver and guide. But it's going to be a great trip. We've added several new places. We've been staying in a little bit nicer hotels, too. The Dan Panorama, which is a very nice hotel. So that's going to be right there in Jerusalem. So a lot of great things going on. Again, this might be our last radio show, but it's not the last time you're going to hear from us. So check out our website, rabbiscott.com. Remember, we are a listener-supported show as well. You can still support the work we're doing as we're going into that next realm of video and other great teachings. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this break. You're listening to the Messianic Hour. Welcome back to the Messianic Hour. I'm your host, Rabbi Scott. This show is dedicated to reaching the lost and educating the found. I'm here with my wife, Judy, and after 7 years, this is our last radio show. We're going to be focused on some new teachings and other ways of communicating with our audience. So it's important you go to our website, rabbiscott.com, go to the Facebook and sign up for the Messianic Hour, become a friend, and check that out. We're going to also have our Roku channel, the Messianic channel, that's still going to be on, still going to be showing great teaching. So we got a lot of things going on. We're just kind of changing the format in which we do it. It's kind of a bittersweet time to remember, last night, though, Judy, I don't know if it woke you up at about 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
normally my phone's turned off, but our red alert went off, and it was actually an attack into the Golan Heights. And this is a concern of ISIS trying to come into Israel and trying to put emphasis on that. So we'll be talking about that, though, through our YouTubes and Roku channel and Facebook page. So check that out. But we're going to be focusing in on that and really looking at what's going on in the Middle East and give you a great perspective of it. So that's some taste of some new things we're going to be doing. We're also going to be looking at Messiah in the Scripture, but we're going to be doing it more as a teaching where you can really get in there and get more than just a 25-minute show will allow us to do. So we're excited about it.
We are. It's kind of hard because we always have to remember our commercial breaks that we have to put in, and we have a little timer program on Scott's phone that you guys can't see, but we can, and it's always like, okay, we've got 2 minutes, we got 30 seconds. How are we going to get everything in? And it goes a lot faster than you actually think. Oh, that's a lot of time, but it ends up going by really, really fast.
Now, for those who maybe have not been on from the very beginning or wanted to know a little bit about how the show started and everything.
No me.
It was definitely.
That's how it was supposed to be.
That's right. You definitely did not want to be any part of it, and.
Well, no. Okay, wait a minute. That sounds really bad.
Well, it wasn't that, but you had.
I just had other responsibilities, and other time. Things that took my time. So that's why I'm like, honey, you want to do it? That's fine. It's all yours. I don't have time to do this.
That's right. And
I still don't have time to do it, but it's like you want something done, give it to a busy person. So we make it work.
That's right. And the show originally started 7/7/07, and we had it with myself, with Rabbi Zuckerman, Michael Zuckerman, and he was kind of the Ed McMahon, just kind of threw stuff out. And when we originally started, it was kind of we were doing it originally going to do it as a call-in show.
Which wouldn't work.
Which, after doing the first show, matter of fact, we were in the studios here in Atlanta at WNIV, our sister station in Atlanta, and the idea was that we would have people call in, but because we were all over all the different stations at all different times,
nobody knew when to call.
No one knew when to call. So
we had to line people up to call.
That's right. And Jay, my brother Jay, came up with, he was actually in town and watched and said, okay, let's rethink this through. And we came up with the format of kind of talking and answering people's questions online. And we were originally, the people say, why are you a half-hour show, but you called the Messianic Hour?
Because we were an hour.
That's right. When we originally started,
that's a lot of content.
When we originally started, we were an hour-long show, and we did that for several years like that. And actually, for about three and a half years, we were a full hour. And then we decided to redo it. We had Bill Koenig with a great ministry, Koenig International Ministries, great ministry. Bill was doing a lot with us, and his time just got so much because he was doing a lot with the White House. Now he's in Israel, and so we had to change the format around, and we came down to the 30-minute format. But you originally weren't on the show, as we mentioned.
No, I wasn't.
And I think it was a couple months into it that Michael and I were doing it, and Michael ended up injuring his foot at the last minute, the day before the show, and wasn't going to be able to do it. And
he's like stepped on a nail. It was a puncture wound. It wasn't something that was, it wasn't just like, oh, I sprained it. No, he
had very serious.
He had to do it where
he had diabetes, so
he had to stay off. He had to keep pressure off the foot.
Right. And so I asked you just to step in and fill in, and being the gracious wife, you did that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget because normally back then we didn't have our cell phones in the room, and I brought mine that day, and after the opening monologue, I get a text from not our then producer, who was Nick, who has now gone on to produce, the head producer for Jay's show, Jay Secular Live, but the head producer for Jay walked in and heard the opening part of it and texted me, and I'll never forget, it says, consider this. I should have kept the email. And I opened up and said, she's a natural. Keep her on.
No, I'm not. I fake it really well.
And that's how it birthed.
Just don't make me have to hear myself.
And that's what birthed us doing the show together. It's been a lot of fun with the husband-wife way of doing it.
And it does translate over to the congregation. If any of you have watched us live,
that's right.
Times that I have to go up on the Bema, we kind of continue the radio show dialogue format thing, whatever you want to call it.
Well, we've been married now for 25 years, so it's been a great time. We actually, when we broadcast the show, we were one of the first organizations that determined that the attack when Israel went into Syria and knocked out the potential nuclear site, we reported on that. We've had a lot of great things go on. We've literally gone through the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts, all through
we didn't do Romans?
I think we did. No, we didn't do Romans.
Romans, we
I don't
stopped
think
at
so.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts.
I don't remember now.
We
I
were
think we did
and then we were
Acts.
starting. We've gone through Genesis.
Right.
We got part of the way through Exodus.
And so people can still go online and still get these and listen to them and be that. But it's been really neat to see how that's all come together.
And we've talked about feasts and festivals.
Right.
When it's that time. In fact, just one last plug. Rosh Hashanah is coming up. September 20. Okay. Fill in while I look
fill
up
in
at
as
the
you look
date.
in. And if you are in the area, or if remember, we live stream all of our congregation services, so you can check that out at bethodonai.com, BETH, and then that's the easy part, but ADONAI.com. Just search rabbiscott.com, and there's a link right there to it.
It's actually, we're having services. So if you're in the metro Atlanta area, come join us if you want to see what a Rosh Hashanah. This is a feast of the Lord. This is
Right.
one of his times that he told us to celebrate for generation to generation. It's Wednesday, the 24th of September at 8 o'clock. We'll be having services, Eastern Standard Time. We'll also be live streaming them. So you can, if you're not in the metro Atlanta area, you can come in through live streaming, and you can actually sign in on the chat and chat with everybody else who's in the chat room. And then on Thursday, the 25th, we'll have services at 11 o'clock, again, live streaming. Right. So really, if you're in...
And then Yom Kippur, which
is the...
10 days later.
Yes. The 3rd and 4th of October.
There you go. And so you can check those out. Again, everything's live streamed. Our weekly services are live. We live stream those as well. We have a chat room. You can check that out. Shani, who videos this, also does a lot of our main videoing of the main service. So you can keep informed of all that's going on. And it's exciting to see. Like I said, we got the holidays coming up. We're going back to Israel in June. It's a great time to join us. So while this is an end of one show, it's a beginning of a lot more, and we're going to be doing a lot with some neat things with YouTube and giving commentaries like we did with the situation with the during the storm with the rockets going off. I encourage you, get that app from Apple. It's called Red Alert Israel. It's a free app, and it's a great way to remember when to pray for Israel and what's going on there in this situation. There's a lot happening, and we need to keep that informed. And some of the memories I have. One thing you mentioned, we started off in a regular studio, and then we ended up moving into your office. Actually, it's part of your office. But we have a third member of the staff who has been on almost every show. I think he's very quiet though, and that's our dog Lucky. We actually have our dog who comes to our show. He's been in our radio show. Every once in a while, you will hear him. Shani is moving the video camera onto him right now.
Oh, great. Everybody's going to see my bare feet, too. Yes.
Every once in a while, you would hear him bark or yelp, and that's our dog. But he does this. He goes right under the table.
Well, he knows when it's really weird because we have a separate set of lights for the radio show.
Right.
And when those lights go on, he knows that it's time, and he goes and assumes the position.
He sits quietly under the table.
He just stays there the whole time as we record. So if anybody's wondering, he's a cockapoo. He's a cocker spaniel poodle mix.
Right.
He's 3 now. He's still a toddler, as we like to call him. But he's just a very sweet boy.
Yeah, but he's been on almost every show that since he's been around.
Yeah, every show.
He comes with us. He comes to our office, and he's great. But he knows. It's interesting too because he's a playful 3-year-old, and yet
he's a toddler.
He's a toddler. But when it comes to Shabbat, he sits quietly. People come walking into the office. He doesn't bother them. Any other day, he's barking and yelping and wanting their attention. It's like he knows.
He knows that Shabbat, he'll go, he lays down. Our ushers walk over to the office because
Right.
the office is separate from the main building to bring the ties over. He doesn't move. They don't even know he's here.
That's right. We're going to be back right after this break for the last segment of the Messianic Hour on the radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the last episode of the Messianic Hour on the radio. We're going to be doing more stuff via YouTube and our Roku channel, the Messianic channel, and also Facebook, so check that out. after 7 years and 370 shows, this is it. We decided to kind of say, okay, let's try something new. It's a fun day, but it's a sad day as well. And I'm glad you're listening with us and checking out this last segment. But Judy, kind of let's talk a little bit about what we're looking to do for the future. We've been talking about doing more with what's going on with in the news, where we can put stuff right out right away. You're not having to wait, and we're going to be having that on our Facebook page. So you really want to log into our Facebook account. That's the Messianic Hour group, and check that out. We're still going to have our app. You'll still be able to get information and do stuff on it. So we're going to have a lot of things going on. But it's again, we decided that we've been doing this for over 7 years, and we started on 7707, and it just is a good time to say, let's go on to the next thing.
Well, the thing is, there's a couple of things. The ministry's growing.
Right.
So knowing that we had to have we had to find time every single week to be able to get the radio show in was starting to be a little bit of a challenge, just with the growth of the ministry that we're seeing. The other thing is the 25-minute format, having to do the breaks.
Right.
So what we would, we would sometimes get done with a show and go, oh, that was going so good. We wish we could have kept it going, but we couldn't. So what we really wanted to do, just, and you've got to listen to God.
Right.
We really wanted to. We've always said we're here to reach the lost and educate the found. And from what you spoke about in the beginning of the show, in the intro, is we have reached the lost. There's someone who's committed their life because of what we did. I mean, that's kind of the best way that you can go out, is hearing something like that we really fulfilled what we wanted to do. And hopefully there's many, many others out there who's had the same thing and just haven't told us. But it's that reach the lost, which everything we do, we proclaim Messiah, we point to Messiah in that, but it's also to teach the found.
Right. And
we really want to concentrate more on the teaching aspect of this. We want to be able to not say, oh, well, we've got 3 minutes till a commercial break, so what are we going to skip? This just really gives us the freedom to teach in depth the way that we would like to teach.
Right. And two, with what's going on right now in the Middle East, you only get so much from the news, and we obviously
That's
monitor.
Usually wrong.
Right. I mean, we monitor, not only the local news, Fox, CNN, etc., but we are also monitoring what's going on actually in Israel, and you get a
from
different
the Israeli standpoint.
Right. So you really get a different perspective. So we're going to be, when things are happening, we're going to be doing special reports, so they really give you that extra insight of what's going on. We did that with the most recent situation with the last ceasefire before this one that finally did hold, how Hamas, kept sending rockets in, and really how you could see them reacting to the situation. And, it's interesting. I'm reading right now on the Jerusalem Post how Abbas had tried to make a deal with Israel, and unfortunately the U.S. even disagreed with this. His plan was he must have really thought about this a lot. It was for Israel to fully withdraw to pre-1967 lines. That means 1948 lines, which gives half of Jerusalem back to the Palestinians within 3 years. And fortunately, Kerry said, I don't think so. So you can see here, this is what Israel has to deal with when negotiation. The old saying is when you negotiate, you have a good deal when neither party is happy. Well, with Hamas and the Palestinians, they want everything they want, and they won't give up anything. And so it's really interesting to see how that goes. So we're really going to focus in on telling you what's going on in the land, doing special reports. We're going to be doing Skyping with interviews so you can see people as we're doing it. So there's a lot of neat things just around the corner, and we're excited about it. It's also a very sad day, and we've been doing this for over 7 years. It's been a big part of our life, and it's been a lot of fun when we go to places and people go, oh, I listen to you on the radio. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
You remember we were in the Chick-fil-A in Tucker,
And we were walking out of the Chick-fil-A.
and a police officer walks up to me and goes, "Are you Rabbi Scott?" And that's something you really don't want to hear sometimes.
Yeah, and I just kept walking.
And she listened to our radio show each week, and she recognized, I guess, the voice and
Or it could have been the face.
the face, and so that was kind of neat. And we've been at conferences, and people have told us how much they enjoy the show, and there's gonna be a lot more to still do. We're gonna be doing a lot deeper stuff, but via different.
Well, and this
avenues,
honestly, it
that's all.
really affects the people who do happen to listen in the radio. And then again, you're tied. Well, they come on it, for here in Atlanta from 4 to 4:30 on Saturday. So you've got to be in your car or at your house, or you've got to have a radio station. You've got to be able to have the radio station available to you. Otherwise, you miss it. So it really is going to only affect everybody who listens on the radio. If you're watching us or listening to us in other means, through the Roku channel, through the Messianic channel, through the YouTube videos, through Vimeo, through all of that, that doesn't change.
Right. Well, but we're not going to be doing a weekly show like this.
It won't be weekly, but we will be loading content. Now, we do have to get through the high holidays. That's 10 days of nonstop craziness. On a ministry aspect side, for everybody else, it's great because they get to come and celebrate the feast, and we just have to make sure everything runs. But we will be getting back in, and again, that's why we're saying go to RabbiScott.com, sign up to join our newsletter, because if you join the newsletter, when we get new videos ready and sent up, we'll notify you of this.
We're not going to bombard you each and every day, though, with videos and stuff like that.
And special events will let you know. The Israel trip will let you know about. So it's ways to still, because, Facebook, if Facebook went down and you're only communicating with us through Facebook, then guess what? We don't know who you are. So if you really go, and we don't sell our website, our email list, we don't sell our email list, we don't give our email list out. It's strictly for our use.
So we want to encourage you again, join us on these new avenues. We've had a great time. We've had a great staff. We really need to say thanks to Nick, who helped he was our original producer.
That's right. And little throw out here, is celebrating his 4th year wedding anniversary.
That's right. And then Joe, who when Nick moved up to the senior level producer, when the Jay's producer went on, Joe came in and took over our show, and he's been great. Shani has been doing our video for a year now. Yeah. And so we've had great times, great fellowship.
Great staff, great people to support us.
It's been a lot of fun.
Most of all, we have to give thanks to Adonai, because he's the one who opened the doors.
Absolutely.
He's the one that's provided us the opportunity to do this, the technology to do this, the way to continue to grow through this. So ultimately, everything is driven towards him.
Right.
With this.
And it's really been neat to see how this ministry has touched people and changed. And we've been at the horse barn, and people say, "Oh yeah, I've listened to you on the radio." People that you would never think, and it's been helped to educate. And that's really what we were all about. And we're going to be continuing to do that. I really want to encourage you to continue to support Israel. Planting a tree through the ministry is a great way to do it. There's a lot of the forests have been hit with these rockets, and with a $25 donation. You not only bless our ministry, but you bless the land as well, and you get a beautiful certificate that shows that a tree has been planted in Israel in the memory or in honor of an event, and it'll be a great opportunity to do it. And so check that out, and remember, you can continue to support us as we continue to do these different.
Well, because the Roku channel does cost us.
Right.
I mean, we're charged. In fact, we just found out the other day we had run out of minutes, so we had to go buy more minutes. So the Roku channel actually cost us money for you guys to be able to go and watch these. And and the only way we're able to do it is based on donations that come in for this.
Right. And we're down to the last 50 seconds of the show, so it's kind of a tough time. But it's been a lot of fun, and we've been doing this for
Will you stop?
7 years. But again, I want to encourage you to continue to be with us as we continue to reach the lost and educate the found. And it's been a lot of fun. And thank you for all of our listeners who've been watching and supporting us. And I wanted to remind you, the most important thing is pray for the peace of Jerusalem. This is Rabbi Scott
And Judy.
saying shalom for now. Bye-bye.